Hey guys, it's Bex. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about my Christmas/winter TBR. It's still November, but I'm already in that Christmassy mood. We've decorated a little bit for Christmas. As you can see, I have a couple little Christmassy things in this little nook of mine, and even though it isn't winter yet, it is very cold where I live and it has snowed one time so far. So yeah, I am just in the Christmas winter cozy drinking hot cocoa mood, so I figured why wait to do this video. So first I will be talking about my Christmas TBR, and I believe I have 9, let me double check, I guess I have 8 Christmassy books, and then I believe I have 10 wintry books, and I'm going to try to go in genre. So the first genre I'm going to be talking about are like holiday romances. So the first one is a book that I'm so excited about. I've heard amazing things about it, like 5-star, 6-star read, and that is Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. And this is also on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't own it. That is probably going to be where I am going to read it. And if I'm looking down kind of a lot, I'll try not to, but just to refresh my memory on some of these books because they kind of all blend together. And you know, I hear about them, I add it to my list, I kind of forget what they're about, but I obviously added them for a reason. So yeah, I have little notes on my notebook here that I'm going to be kind of looking at. What I wrote for this one is 10 years, 10 flights. Andrew and Molly both live in Chicago and take a yearly flight to their hometowns in Ireland for the holidays, but this year a snowstorm grounds their flight, and Andrew is very into Christmas and Molly not so much, but because Andrew is, Molly makes it her mission to get Andrew home for the holidays, even through the snowstorm. I don't know if they're super good friends, like at the start, but I think it's kind of friends to lovers. And it just sounds adorable. Second book I have is another holiday romance, and that is the Merry Matchmaker by Sheila Roberts. This one is about Frankie Lane. She can't stop trying to help everyone around her find their happily ever after, even when her help leads to disaster. Frankie and Mitch Howard have been friends for 9 years. He's been divorced for years. It's such a waste of a man. Mitch needs someone, and Frankie is determined to find him that someone, whether he likes it or not. So I think she kind of, you know, tries to matchmake everybody in her life, but kind of neglects herself. I believe that I think she's maybe widowed, if I remember right. So it sounds like it might kind of have some comedy aspects in it too, and then it sounds like Frankie and Mitch are gonna kind of have that relationship in the book. Also, the cover of this one, I'll put it up on the screen, is so cute. The third one I have is Together at Midnight by Jennifer Castle. This is a YA holiday romance, and it is about high school senior Kendall and Max witness a tragic accident in New York City during the holiday season. Racked with guilt, the two accept a dare to perform random acts of kindness to strangers. The challenge brings the two closer together, and they can't deny their growing bond, even though they both have other romantic entanglements and uncertain futures. As the clock counts down on New Year's Eve, will they find themselves together at midnight? So this kind of sounds like it's, you know, romance of course, but also maybe like a feel-good book with like the acts of kindness to strangers type deal, which is perfect for the holiday season. The next one I do own, and it's probably the one I am most excited about on this list. That is Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. First of all, this cover is absolutely gorgeous. This edition in general, because there's also these beautiful end papers, and look at the hardback cover. The gold foiling, I'm obsessed. So if you haven't heard of this, it is part of the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. It says right here, it's a Caraval holiday novella. So definitely only read this if you've already read the Caraval series. Yeah, this basically just follows all the characters from the Caraval series, 2 sisters, Tella and Scarlett, and their respective significant others. And I'll just read you the back. A holiday that isn't what it seems, a gift worth searching for, a night to remember. And yeah, I think it's basically just kind of one of the sisters is trying to plan the perfect holiday party for the place they live, the Magnificent North, and the other sister is trying to find the perfect gift for her significant other for the holidays. It just sounds like such a fun time, and this is fully illustrated. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite pages, and I just happened to turn to it. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, literally so excited for this. Oh, and that is a YA romance fantasy because there's like magic involved. And the next one is also kind of fantasy because it involves witches and it's a holiday romance. And I also have this one, and that is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. This is the third book in the X-Hex series. The X-Hex, the second one is The Kiss Curse, and then this one. These are interconnected standalones. I don't know how much you would be spoiled if you read this one without the other ones. I haven't heard specifically, but this one follows one of the Penhallow brothers who are witches, Bowen Penhallow, and this girl Tamsin, who is not a witch, she's just a human. Tamsin works for Bowen, acquiring magical artifacts for him, and they both, under different circumstances, get invited to this Yuletide wedding, so Christmassy, when some sort of mishap happens where they get transported to, did I write this down? Yeah, 1957 to a Yuletide celebration. So they kind of have to work together while also maybe falling in love. And I've really enjoyed her books so far. They're easy, like palette cleansers, fast paced. This one's not even 300 pages, and they're just a fun time. So hopefully this one will be no exception. Number 6, we have The Book Club Hotel by Sarah Morgan. This is on Kindle Unlimited, and this is like a chick lit fiction romance. And this follows Hattie, who owns the cozy Maple Sugar Inn. Widowed too young, Hattie is struggling to juggle managing the inn while being a single mom. And when 3 friends, Erica, Claudia, and Anna, check in for a girlfriend's book club holiday, her story becomes entwined in theirs. I feel like that's kind of broad. Spoiler alert, I have started this book, but I'm not super far in yet, so I know a little bit more. I think there might be like a little tiny subplot of mystery, and it's very bookish with the book club, and it sounds like it's just kind of like a for the girls book. Next I have another chick lit slash comedy, Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. This is a part of the, I don't know what it's called, Shopaholic series. If you've seen Confessions with a Shopaholic or Confessions of a Shopaholic, this follows like the same characters, so I'm assuming that that movie was based on one of the books in the series. I think this is like the 9th book, but I heard that it's a very standalone book, a part of the series, like you can read it without reading the other ones. This follows Becky Bloomwood, and she is a shopaholic. When her family nominates her to host Christmas this year, it throws her into a buying frenzy, with her sister Jess demanding a vegan turkey, little Minnie insisting on a very specific picnic hamper, and the surprise appearance of an old boyfriend and his pushy new girlfriend. Will chaos ensue, or will Becky manage to bring comfort and joy to Christmas? So again, that's pretty vague, but I've heard it is really funny, hence the comedy, and that it's just kind of like chaotic, you know, throwing a holiday kind of family party get together, all the stress that comes with that. I don't know, it sounds like such a fun time. One more on my Christmas TBR, and this one is a mystery thriller. I think maybe more so mystery. It's called Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson. President's family, an impossible murder or two, and a deadly advent calendar of clues. Ernest Cunningham used to be a fan of reading murder mysteries until he found himself with a haphazard career getting stuck in the middle of real-life ones. World-famous magician Ryan Blaze's benefactor has just been murdered. We have 3 clues: a suspect covered in blood without a memory of how it got there, a murder committed without setting foot inside the room where it happens, and an advent calendar, because it's Christmas. So this one's more so, you know, to break up like the romances, because I do have a lot of those on here. So this was just something different and it sounded fun, so I'm excited for that one. Alright, now we are on to my winter TBR, which again I have 10 on this list. The first one I have is called A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos, which is the first book in the Mirror Visitor series, and this series is a YA fantasy, and this follows our main character Ophelia. She lives on an ark called Anima, which is a floating island. Long ago, these arks were created following a cataclysm called the Rapture. Ophelia has the ability to communicate with the souls of objects and to travel through mirrors. She becomes betrothed to a man from a snowy ark and is forced to leave her comfortable life and navigate a dangerous world and uncover secrets. I have heard very mixed reviews on this book. Some people love it. They say that the fantasy world is very unique, and then some people didn't like it, DNF'd it. So, you know, it could go either way, but I'm curious to see what I think of it. Next, we have a book that is on Kindle Unlimited. It is a fantasy with a little bit of romance called Grimm Curiosities by Sharon Lynn Fisher. Winter. I actually saw this on my Kindle, you know, when it's like sleeping and it has like, oh, read this book on the like sleeping screen. I saw this one on there and I was like, ooh, actually that kind of sounds interesting, and the cover was pretty cool and kind of looked like wintry to me. But I looked it up and it sounded really good, and it has like barely any reviews on Goodreads, so that's always kind of fun to read a book that you've never heard talked about, isn't very hyped or popular, because, well, I don't really know why that's fun, but it is. So anyway, set in 1851, Lizzie Grimm struggles to save her late father's charmingly creepy antique shop. During a particularly snowy December, Lizzie meets Antony, whose sister suffers from the same perplexing affliction as Lizzie's mother, both stricken silent after speaking with ghosts. They work together to unravel what power has transformed their loved ones. I don't know, we'll see what I think about it. It takes place in snowy December. Next one that I own physically is the second book in a series, and that is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, a Chronicles of Narnia book. This is, of course, a popular movie. I love the movie, and I've never read the book. I read the first one in this series, The Magician's Nephew, a couple months ago. I listened to it on audiobook, and I liked the audiobook, so we'll see if I read this one physically or listen to it. But these are super short. This is like 200 pages, and this is a YA fantasy series that follows these 4 siblings. Well, each book kind of is about sort of different people. At least the first book was about different people. Anyway, this one follows these 4 siblings who stumble upon this magical land called Narnia that is frozen in eternal winter under the evil enchantment of the White Witch of Narnia, and they end up fighting alongside this lion, Aslan, who talks and stuff. All the creatures in this land talk. They join Aslan and his army to free Narnia from the White Witch's spell. Really excited to read this. I have quite a few fantasies on here. So the next one is also a YA fantasy, and it is called The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, and it follows Vasya, a young girl who lives in medieval Russia who possesses the unique ability to communicate with mythical creatures. Her new stepmother, devoutly Christian, tries to suppress these beliefs, which forces Vasya to use her powers to protect her family from growing danger, often personified by the bear, a powerful winter spirit. This one probably is one of the highest rated book on my winter TBR, so it is very beloved. Hopefully I love it just as much. Next we have a book by an author that I recently read my first book by, and I loved it, so I immediately was looking up other books by her, and I just so happened to see that this one looked like it might be wintry, and it was, and that is called Winterwood by Shea Earnshaw, and this is a YA fantasy romance. We follow Nora, a 17-year-old girl who comes from a long line of walkers, women with witch-like powers who live next to the creepy Wicker Woods. Nora finds a lost boy named Oliver alive in the woods despite a massive snowstorm and works to unravel how he survived. The book I read by Shea Earnshaw like last month was The Wicked Deep, and I loved it, so I have high hopes for this one. Next is a duology, and that is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Lee Bardugo. I found Crooked Kingdom at a little free library in my neighborhood, and it's, you know, not in the best condition, but it had red sprayed edges that I'm assuming this copy was sold like that. I don't know if that's true. Maybe whoever had it did it themselves. And I knew I wanted to read this series, so I had to get it, and then I went and bought Six of Crows a little bit after that. These are YA fantasies. I guess I didn't realize they were YA, but that's what it says on Goodreads. And this series follows criminal prodigy Kaz. He is offered a chance at a deadly heist that could make him rich beyond his wildest dreams, but he can't pull it off alone. 6 dangerous outcasts, 1 impossible heist. I've heard it has amazing found family, and that it's just one of people's favorite series. These are like the only books on this list that I don't necessarily know if they're specifically wintry, but the cover of specifically Six of Crows just looks wintry to me. Let me know if you guys have read it and think it is wintry. I'm very curious. Now we have a couple mystery thrillers. First one is An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. This is kind of like your classic whodunit bunch of strangers are all staying at this snowy hotel, and the hotel ends up losing power because of the snowstorm, and one of the guests winds up, and the remaining guests basically just have to try to figure out, you know, who did it. If it's one of them, if there's some random stranger in the hotel that they don't know about. Next, I have a book that I need to seriously read so bad because I've had it on my radar for a long time. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I need to read it before it gets taken off of there, but that is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This follows a married couple who win a weekend away to the snowy Scottish Highlands. They are hoping this can help them rekindle their relationship. Each anniversary, Amelia writes Adam a letter that she never lets him read until now. They find out that they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. Heard amazing things about this book. Lots of plot twists. Always keeps you guessing and wanting to continue reading. So very excited about that one. And the last one I have on this list is actually a horror novel by the one and only Stephen King, The Shining. Fun fact, Stephen King is actually my second most read author this year. I have read, I think, 3 or 4 books by him this year. Anyway, that's beside the point. This book follows Jack Torrance, who gets a new job at the Overlook Hotel as the off-season caretaker. It's the perfect chance for him to reconnect with his wife and son and work on his writing. Harsh weather sets in, and the idyllic location feels ever more remote and sinister. The only one to notice the strange and terrible forces gathering around the hotel is his 5-year-old son, Danny. I have seen the movie, haven't read the book, heard it's amazing like pretty much all of his books. I really enjoy his writing and pretty much every book I've read by him, so I hope this one won't be any different. Those are the 18 books that I have on my Christmas and my winter TBR. I'm honestly so excited about all of them, hoping I can read a good amount of them this holiday and this season. Let me know if you've read any of these, your thoughts, and what is on your Christmas/winter TBR. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!